with you during International Education Week. We're very excited to share tips and strategies to help support you during this time of need during the pandemic. It's so important right now to really focus on self-care and take care of your physical health, your mental health, your social health during this time. So hopefully you'll learn a few things from this presentation. Feel free to type in the chat if you have any questions, and one of our team members can answer. And we'll also have some time at the end to do a Q&A with all of you. So welcome. And what we'll be focusing on today with the agenda, our team will be presenting different things. I will start with healthy work and study habits from home. We know some of you may be students or staff and faculty that are also studying and working at the same time. Then we'll hear from Michelle Sansoni with different fitness resources available at the Recreation Center. Jacqueline will talk about healthy cooking and meal preparation tips. Then Ed will lead us through an interactive stretching session. And then we'll wrap it with Clyde to do a session on home ergonomics, making sure that you're set up correctly at home in front of your computer. So that is our team, and I will go ahead and get started on my portion. I'm Julie Chabdi, the Wellness Program Coordinator and Co-Chair of UCR Healthy Campus. So we're in the midst of this pandemic, and our lives have shifted to remote work as well as distance learning. And in this time, it's really critical that we maintain and support our well-being as well as the well-being of our peers and colleagues. So there are ways that you can integrate various well-being concepts into your virtual work and learning environments and create healthy practices that lead to success. A few things you can do to stay in the routine and to be productive is to get up and get dressed for the day. And this means getting out of your pajamas and into your work clothes so that you're transitioning your mind and body and preparing it for the day. So whatever your routine was, if you can remember 8 months ago, 9 months ago, try to follow that normal routine as much as you can, whether that be eating breakfast in the morning. Some of us like to work out first thing in the morning, reading the paper, taking a shower, even putting on makeup. Scheduling your day is also really important to stay on top of tasks and stay productive and effective. So think about what time are you going to start your day and end your day in terms of work or in terms of studying. Make sure you plan for a lunch break. It's also really important to fuel your mind, and then also breaks throughout the day. And Ed will show us different stretches you can do at your desk, and also if you need to step away from the computer to get some stretching in. Make sure that you schedule your meetings as well as time to do things like return phone calls, follow-up emails, and even time to plan. And for those of you that might need special arrangements, discuss non-traditional hours, such as working and studying early in the mornings or evenings. Discuss this with your professor or your supervisor, because right now we know that some of you are at home with children, maybe you're caring for elderly family members, or even having pets around that may distract you during the day. So see what schedule you can put in place. Minimize distractions, find an area where you could be quiet to study and to work, and then set boundaries and look at ways to alternate between work and home responsibilities. As we move into remote work, we are finding ourselves in lots of virtual meetings and calls more than ever. There's no more travel time across campus or informal chats in the hallway. And so we are often in front of the video, in front of the screen, and experiencing meeting fatigue, Zoom fatigue. And so I have a couple of tips for you to consider in scheduling meetings. And these are some tips to promote and provide healthy and productive meetings. Consider holding 50-minute meetings to allow 10 minutes to transition so participants can take a break. If possible, avoid scheduling meetings on Fridays between 1 and 5 to allow time to catch up during the week and prepare for the following week. And if possible, avoid scheduling meetings at 8 a.m. on Mondays so that people can have the time to warm up to work. Prior to the meeting, establish expectations such as, is the video camera optional or is it required? And then also for long meetings that may run into lunch, tell your participants to have a snack handy, a healthy snack ideally, as well as water. During the meeting, look for ways to engage participants, such as icebreakers or brain teasers, incorporating stretch breaks into the meeting, especially if it's over 1 hour. Look for ways to create a safe and welcoming environment where participants can contribute when they want to and in different ways. So maybe there's a raise hand feature or the chat or some polls. So there's different ways that people can, speak up and share, and make sure that everyone has had a chance to be heard. Have participants identify themselves so everyone knows each other, and then don't forget to accommodate for those that may need specific accommodations. Now, we're also living at home and we're doing a lot more at home. Gyms are closed. A lot of restaurants are closed, indoors and have limited capacity outdoors. And so we want to make sure that you stay active and moving at home. So aim for at least 30 minutes of cardiovascular activity, at least 5 days a week, and 2 days of strength training. We have a lot of information on our Healthy Campus website in terms of exercises and guidelines, and then also take stretch breaks throughout the day. The beauty of Zoom is people can't see what you're doing. So if you need to stand up or move around or walk during a call, feel free to do so if you're able to, safely as well. When eating at home, enjoy healthy meals and snacks, and that means consuming wholesome, balanced diet with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and dairy for those that consume dairy. Practice portion control and keep healthy foods visible. We tend to grab things that are in eyesight, and so having healthy snacks washed, cut, pre-bagged, it makes it easier for us to go for the healthier items versus the chips and the candy. And don't forget to hydrate. It's always important to drink water throughout the day and have water close to your computer. It's also important to manage stress. Right now, we're so stressed out with the pandemic. When is it ever going to end? All the different stressors with working and studying from home. So find some time to practice mindfulness. Maybe instead of your normal commute, you can take just 5 minutes or 10 minutes to just sit down and find a quiet place, close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and just clear your mind of the day's noise. This helps you to find purpose, improve your outlook, and reduce stress. We have on our Healthy Campus website audio meditations that Diane Del Bono, Associate of the Chancellor, has recorded that you can play. The Rec Center also has classes, which Michelle will talk about. And then we have our Faculty Staff Assistance Program that provides resources and tips for you. Continuing on with finding joy and gratitude, find things that you really enjoy to make your day more pleasurable. It could be journaling, it could be writing thank you notes, things that really express gratitude and joy within yourself and really sharing that with others. You can start and end your day with something positive. So maybe when you wake up or go to bed, think of 1 or 3 things that went well during the day and really build on that. Sleep is also really important. So aim to keep a consistent sleep schedule, 7 to 8 hours a night, and create a healthy sleep environment. So check the temperature, make sure it's cool but not too hot, make sure it's comfortable, and also that you have a comfortable mattress, and avoid electronics if you can right before bed. Giving back is also a great way to find joy and to reduce stress during this time. And with the holidays coming up, there's so many virtual opportunities where you can write letters to seniors, or maybe if you're wanting to go out and do a few things, you can do some grocery shopping for a friend or neighbor, or make phone calls to different organizations. And then also donating to different causes is a great way to give back. And of course, socializing at home. So we're playing at home more. So take breaks from social media. That can cause a lot of stress, having to scroll through news, especially unwanted news, and find ways to connect with loved ones, whether it be through video chats, text messaging, even just picking up the phone. Finding ways to unwind, and when you become overwhelmed, making a list of different things to have handy. So when you're looking for something to do, whether it's a book or a virtual class or fun activities, you have a list prepared, which I will share right here. I'm not going to go through each one in the interest of time, but there's different things you can do at home virtually that will help clear your mind, improve your health and well-being, and maybe even develop some skills during this pandemic. And then here's a second page for you to look at, just different ways for you to connect socially and virtually during this pandemic. So with that, I'm going to move on and turn it over to Michelle, who is our next speaker, Michelle Sansoni, Assistant Director, Fitwell and the Recreation Center.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Julie. So I hope a lot of you are currently taking advantage of all the offerings that we have at the Student Recreation Center. I'm going to go over some of these opportunities today with you. So one thing that we have going on, it's called Recreation Movement. It is a platform that is a part of the National Recreation Intramural Sports Association. And over 40 different colleges and universities across the country are a part of this movement. All you have to do is log on to our website, which I've included below, find our Recreation Movement section, and then you create your own account and you can work out with over 40 different colleges and universities across the country. So you can participate in UCLA's classes, a bunch of different campuses in Texas, all from the East Coast to the West Coast. So it's a great opportunity for you to kind of change up your exercise and your workouts and maybe find some instructors at other universities that you might connect well with. We also have our own live event schedule at the SRC. And the great thing about this is you don't have to be a member of the rec. So prior to COVID, you had to have a membership to participate in our classes, but all of our virtual offerings are available for students, faculty, and staff free of charge. The only thing that you have to do is log in with your UCR credentials via Zoom. Otherwise, you won't be admitted into the class. And this just helps protect the safety of all of our participants and making sure that we don't have any Zoom bombings. But we have a variety of classes each week, everything from yoga to dance, strength training, core, kickboxing. We even have sleep meditation classes. Another great class that we have that a lot of staff and faculty have been participating in is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a stretch break class that's 15 minutes long. It's led by our massage therapists. They teach you some self-massage techniques along with some helpful stretches to kind of help with those achy shoulders, neck, low back that you might be experiencing from working at your desk all day. We also have an equipment checkout program, and this is such a popular service right now. You don't have to have a membership to the SRC. We have a variety of equipment, everything from dumbbells to kettlebells, exercise plates, jump ropes, high quality equipment, BOSUs, physio balls, and you just have to register online, set up an appointment to reserve your spot for the equipment checkout program. You get the equipment for an entire week and then you have to bring it back. And this allows our staff time to properly disinfect and clean everything prior to turning it over to another person. So over the weekend, we thoroughly clean everything and then we open back up on Monday. Starting in January, we are going to have online personal training. Another benefit of this is that you don't have to have a membership to the SRC and you don't have to do a consultation prior to signing up for personal training. This is available for students, faculty, and staff. 3 sessions are $60 and then 10 sessions are $170. So everything you can do, you can register online, pay online, and then a trainer will contact you. Like I said earlier, our massage therapists are offering a flexibility class, a stretch break class every Tuesday and Thursday from 2:30 to 2:45. And then they're also offering some gratitude classes, aromatherapy classes. These classes are really popular. So if you want to learn something new about essential oils and how to make your own essential oils, one of our massage therapists is very passionate about this topic, and her class has become really popular and it's grown a lot. So take advantage of all of these free offerings that we currently have. All of our offerings you can find on our website as well. If you look on the recreation guide that we have listed, it includes everything that every program area and department area in the rec center is offering, and then for the entire quarter. So you can see everything and kind of decide what you want to attend in advance and put it on your calendar. We also have a service that's free right now, which is called Fit for Hire during COVID-19. And say that you can't attend one of our stretch break classes on the schedule, you can reserve an actual private class for your department. We do 15-minute stretch breaks, 30-minute stretch breaks. We also do this presentation that we are doing for you today. And then we have a stress management and mindfulness workshop where Angela walks you through meditation, breathing, and she leads a discussion all about mindfulness and practicing mindfulness during this stressful time. So thank you so much for your time. If you need anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here and available to help people. We're available to customize exercise or whatever your department might need during this time. So don't hesitate to call, email. We can set up a Zoom really quick and get you squared away so you feel good and healthy during this time. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Michelle. And now we'll turn it over to Jacqueline Leslie, Wellness Program Specialist.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to talk about how to plan, shop, save, and cook during these times. When I originally created these slides, it was at the beginning of the pandemic. So lately the grocery stores have been full, but the last few times I've went, we started running out of things again. So all of this information may be more relevant than it has been in the past couple weeks. So the idea is to create a plan. We want to stock up but not stockpile, which tends to be our case for a lot of our different grocery stores right now, is too many people are stockpiling. So we want to have enough food for 2 weeks. You're going to want to clear out old food, stock up on essentials, and make extra meal servings for any items that you have as leftovers. So the first things first, when we're creating our game plan, assess what we already have, what we have in stock, get rid of things we don't need. So that come reading expiration dates, reading them carefully, assess whether the food is safe to eat. Sometimes it's checking visible signs of spoilage, checking expiration dates, and so forth. This can help you plan meals around what you already have and will limit your number of trips to the grocery store, which is what we're trying to do right now. The exception would be canned goods. So anything that's damaged or dented or hisses when you open, we want to make sure to discard those and not eat those. And then not letting anything go to waste is really important, especially during these times. So when we're creating that game plan, we really want to focus on what we have and what we actually need. And then what foods do you and your family enjoy? So sometimes it's easy to think about, let's try this recipe, let's do this. And then when it comes to it, we're still working on the computer and we're tired, and we want to make sure we have foods that are quick and healthy for us to make. Okay, go ahead and go next slide. So shopping, these are just some pantry items that could be great for those 2 weeks of preparation. It goes through beans, different canned proteins like tuna, salmon. There's also canned produce. We want to make sure we look for items that have no added salt or 50% less sodium. There's also fresh produce and canned produce. So one of my favorite things to use canned with is to make oatmeal in the morning. So it gives our oatmeal a little bit more flavor. We always talk about what's, the difference between fresh, canned, or frozen, but either way, they have nutrients that our body needs. So as long as we're eating some fruits and vegetables, that's great for us. Again, just remembering limiting the sugar. If we're buying fruit, looking at the percentage of actual fruit juice in there, whether it's in water or concentrate. Got the next one. These are just some freezer items. So many grocery stores have different fruits and vegetables that are in season. Like I said, we could get frozen items. Some of my favorite frozen items to get would be the vegetables. They're just a little bit easier for me to cook with an omelet or for dinner. So broccoli, peas, green beans, mixed vegetables. I love getting bell peppers. They cook pretty fast when they're frozen. And then of course our regular proteins that we eat, chicken, different seafood, and ground meats. Don't forget your fridge essentials like different condiments. Eggs are a great source of protein that is usually a fraction of the cost compared to other proteins. And of course, hydrate. So the beginning of quarantine, there's cases and cases of water flying off the shelf. Just remember, most of us, we all have access to tap water. Purchasing a Brita sometimes is less than $30. So it could potentially save money as well as be good for our environment. And then my favorite part is always just saving on cost. So the most important thing is always comparing unit prices. So this is one of the reasons why I do the shopping in my house, is because I like to compare unit prices. Know what you're buying in bulk and know what brands you're purchasing. So one of the most important things when comparing unit pricing and buying in bulk and based off of the different brands is really looking at the nutrition label. So if you're buying 2 different brands of pasta, we want to make sure they're higher in fiber, how many grams of carbs are in there, and especially like how much sodium is in there. So make sure when we do compare unit prices, we're also comparing the nutrition label. We always want to go shopping on a full stomach or after a workout. We tend to stay off of the items that call to our attention, like the ice cream or things on the end caps. That's another tip, is just staying off the end caps and try to shop the perimeter of the store. You're going to get more of your whole foods, fresh foods and that sort. Things that do have sooner expiration dates. A lot of our aisle foods are going to be our shelf stable items. So that tends to have more sodium and sugar to make them last longer. One of my favorite things are delivery services. So a lot of grocery stores right now are offering in-store pickup, curbside pickup, or even delivery. There's third-party options that also do grocery store delivery right to your front door. These services can be helpful during these times. You can resist the urge to buy too much of something, splurge on those end caps and ice cream freezers, but it also helps you prepare a shopping list and stay on budget. So it can work in our favor in several different ways. So try to utilize those if you can. And then cooking. So like I said, at the beginning of this pandemic and stay-at-home orders, I was so eager to cook new options, have things prepared. But when reality sets in, we're still working, we're on the computer, we can get even a little bit more tired because we are sitting in front of a screen. Some of us have children and spouses at home. So at the end of the day, we need to make sure we have items that we normally cook, that we like to cook. Something I enjoy doing is casseroles. You can make breakfast casseroles, lunch and dinner. You can pretty much stick anything you want in it and then freeze it. So that's a great option. Slow cooker recipes are also some of my favorites. Minimal effort, they taste great. And you can use them for different items. So chicken fajitas, steak fajitas, you could put it in an omelet the next day. Healthy soups and chilies. There's so many recipes to try them. So this page has recipes that are linked. But if you go to healthycampus.ucr.edu, there's tons of cookbooks and recipes for you to try. When you are going to the grocery store, don't forget to get healthy snacks. So we want to eat pretty frequently throughout the day. Sometimes, when we're at work and we're sitting in our office, we can easily go all day without eating. But we have that lunch break that gives us a break. When we're at home, it's a lot easier to skip through that lunch break. So we want to stay on a schedule, like Julie mentioned, and make sure we have healthy snacks available. And then best tip is always cooking extra. So that way, whatever you had for dinner the next day, you can use for breakfast or lunch the following day. If you're cooking and you have kids and a spouse at home, there's always food in the refrigerator to give you some extra time to yourself. That's all the information I have for you. I hope you took some of these tips and could apply them the next few weeks. This is my email, but like I said, healthycampus.ucr.edu has tons of resources, recipes, healthy snack options for you to try at home. And one of my favorite websites is also choosemyplate.gov. You could put in your own dietary restrictions and it could spit out different recipes for you to try for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Thank you, Jacqueline. So now I'll stop sharing and introduce Ed Marshall, who is our Work Strong coordinator, to take us through the inactive portion.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let me try to get my screen going here. Real quick. All right, so I'm going to go through a couple of slides real quick just to kind of show you what's going on, and then I'll stop sharing so that then that's when we'll get a little more interactive with this portion. So now that we're working at home and away from our office, we may not be working in the most ergonomically efficient manner, which, lucky for you, once I'm done, you'll get to hear Dr. Blackwelder talk about the ergonomics of the home workstation, so he'll be able to help us out with that. But in the meantime, with the work that we're doing now, with the situation that we're in, we may be feeling a little more stress, in our daily lives, right? We may be feeling like we're kind of chained to our workstations a little bit more. We don't have the option of walking around the office and visiting with our coworkers like we once did. So we may be feeling a little more confined and not getting away from our workstation as often as we have in the past. And typically, that's going to tend to do a couple of things. That's going to cause us to kind of stiffen up a little bit. We may not be feeling as flexible as we had in the past. And that's also going to increase our stress, increase our fatigue. So how do we combat that? Stretching, right? The more we can stress throughout, or stretch, not stress, we don't want to stress. The more we can stretch throughout the course of the day, the better off we're going to be. That's going to help reduce our stress levels. That's going to help increase our energy levels. All right. So you guys will all get a copy of the slides at some point. I've put together a number of stretches that basically encompass the whole body from the head down to the toes. But and these 2 pages right here are real easy to do either at work or at home. Got another page here that does require you to get on the floor to do some of them, which at home isn't a problem. At work, you may not want to, but give these a try. What I'm going to do today is just highlight a couple of my favorites right here. So, and then we'll go back to sharing in a little bit. All right. But here's where we get interactive, all right? I'm gonna move my computer around a little bit, so hopefully that doesn't make anybody motion sick, all right? So again, working at home, stress levels, right? So we may feel that, typically we feel that up in the top of our shoulders, the back of our head. So the first stretch we're going to do, please follow along with me at home. I want you to take your left hand and just put it behind your back, all right? And you can do this one seated or standing, whatever is more comfortable for you. So with that hand behind your back, your right hand, I want you to grab your head, top of your head, and we're going to turn our chin just a little bit down in a 45-degree angle. And I call this one the deodorant check because here we go. All right, so in an angle, we're going to gently pull our head down towards our armpit. All right. And as we do that, you should feel that stretch from the tip of your shoulders right up the back to the back of your head. All right. That's going to help reduce that stress, that we feel, throughout the course of the day. Okay. We do one side. Of course, we want to do the other side. So take that right hand. We'll just switch sides. We'll grab that head, turn our head just a little bit, and pull our chin down in an angle towards our armpit. All right, and pull just just a little bit. Now remember, whenever you're doing any stretching, a little bit of discomfort is okay. Pain is not. Right? If you're feeling pain doing anything, it means you're trying a little too hard. I want you to back off just a little bit. All right. So that's going to get those kind of stressful trapezius muscles right there. Next one we're going to try. All right. And again, because we may be at the computer doing a lot of data entry, longer period of time, right? Being in that kind of in that position tends to roll our shoulders forward. All right. So typically the front of our shoulders, our pectoral muscles, our chest kind of shortens up, gets a little bit tight. Now, fortunately, it doesn't usually cause a lot of pain, but over time, it could affect your posture, right? Walking around with kind of hunched shoulders, feeling a little tight in the chest there, and this stretch is really going to target that area. So I'm going to move you guys just a little bit here. Follow me along. Now, this one you should do standing up. Right? And it's best to do this one against a solid object. A door jamb works great. You can do it against a wall. I'm going to use a bookcase right here. Something solid that's not going to fall over when I grab onto it and put a little force on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my right hand. I'm going to grab onto my door jamb or my bookcase. All right. I'm going to keep that arm at about 90 degrees. And all I'm going to do is just turn away from that hand. Open up my chest. Right, I'm going to feel that across my forearm. I'm going to feel that across the front of my shoulders. I'm going to feel that across the top or the middle of my pectoral muscles right there. All right. Now this one, because we're all different and we're all going to feel, tightness in some different areas, I really advise you to play around with that hand position. So right here, I'm at about 90 degrees. I'm going to take my hand up a little bit higher. Do the exact same thing. We're going to turn, we're going to open up. Still going to feel it in the forearm. Still going to feel it in the shoulders. But now I'm going to feel it in a different part of that pectoral muscle. All right. So you're just going to play around with that hand position and find that, one or two spots that really feels good for you. And then that'll be the area that you concentrate on. All right. Now, of course, again, do one side, do the other, show both sides a little bit of love, right? Now, just for time's sake, I'm only going to do the one. That's a really good stretch to kind of open up that shoulders, open up the chest, and kind of loosen you up. And once you're done with that, it's going to be a lot easier to get those shoulders back and keep a nice posture. Now, again, I'm going to move you some more here. Bear with me. Being seated for an extended period of time, right? So typically that's going to affect those hip flexors, right? The front of our hips there. And you may notice this if you've been working for a while, okay? Then you need to get up to go do something. It may take you a few steps before you can actually stand upright because those hips are really, really tight, all right? So we're going to open up those hips with a real easy stretch, all right? Let me bring you up here again. So this one, you'll need to stand up. And all we're going to do here, hands on our hips, and we're just going to arch our back backwards, all right? We're just going to kind of lean back. You're going to feel that in your abs. You're going to feel that in those hip flexors. That's what we really want to open up and stretch out. All right. And if your back's a little bit tight, you can even lean forward a little bit. Make sure you don't hit your head on a desk. All right. Feel that in your hamstrings, in that low back. All right. Ease yourself back up. But again, standing up, arching that back, that's really going to open up those hips for us. All right. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen with you real quick. So real quick, if we are doing a lot of data entry, we may be feeling some issues in our forearms and our hands, little numbness, little tingling. These tendon glides right here are great little exercise to do to kind of help combat any inflammation, any tightness that we have going on in our forearms. All right. So most of you probably already do some form of wrist stretches. Okay. These are real simple, and these are included on the previous slides. But these tendon glides, I want to show you real quick before we run out of time here. Okay, these are designed to help those tendons in that carpal tunnel area kind of break free of each other, move a little more independently, and that'll help break up some inflammation that might be developing in those areas. Okay? So what I want you to do is just take your hands straight out in front of you, and we're just going to start off with our hook fist, which is just bending the tips of our fingertips. All right, we're just going to open and close a few times. All right, and then next we're going to move on to our straight fist, which is taking our fingertips down to the bottom of our palms. Open and close, open and close. And then we're going to move on to our full fist, which, you know, just like if you're getting ready to punch someone, just open and close, open and close. And then lastly, taking our thumbs across our palms, open and close, open and close. All right, so we just did a few of those, and already you're probably feeling it in your forearms here. So practice these, okay? And pretty soon they're going to be second nature. You know, okay, you can do those while you're sitting in the car, while you're on a call, you know, at any time. So along with those forearm stretches are going to go a long ways in helping to reduce some of those issues you may be having with your hands. All right, so I know we kind of went through these really quick. If you'd like some more instructions, if you know maybe you're having issues with an area that we didn't cover today and you want some help on what to do, okay, there's my contact information. Feel free to reach out. We can do some more one-on-one instructions. We can put together a plan specific to your needs. So hopefully you got a little something out of this, and if I can help you after this, I'm here for you. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And last but not least, we have Dr. Clyde Blackwelder to show us how to set up our home station. Clyde, are you okay there? You're on mute, Clyde.
I know, I just figured that out, Julie. Thank you. I'm really good at teaching people how to use their bodies while they're at a computer. I'm not all that good with using a computer. Am I sharing my screen right now? Julie?
Or not?
No.
You were, it went away.
It went away. Hang on one second, bear with me. There it goes.
Not
Oops.
seeing it.
I lost the, oh, here we go. Share screen. There we go. Sorry about that. You got it now?
Yes, just put it in. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Perfect.
Woohoo!
All right. So one of the challenges with working from home is the fact that we might be spending too much time sitting. Ed talked a lot about stretching, super important. One of the most difficult things for us physically when we're working on a computer is just the fact that we're not moving enough. So a real simple concept to appreciate is the body will adapt to whatever we ask of it, right? If we go to the gym and work out a lot, we start looking like someone who goes to the gym and works out a lot, and we get the value of those things. If we sit and stay static, we become more stiff and less mobile, and that creates a lot of physical problems for the human body. However, also, it should be really important to understand that when you are sitting or in any posture, if you put yourself in a more ideal posture, then you experience less physical stress. So we're going to really kind of reinforce two things here. What is your ideal posture and how to get there via your ergonomic setup? And then also continue to take frequent breaks to get the stretching and the movement that you need. So here we're looking at some people that might be working at their dining room table. It's a really common scenario. But you can see their postures are this forward flex, rounded back, head forward posture. It's really stressful in the entire spine, the back of the neck, etc. And as you stay in a posture like this, initially it won't feel uncomfortable to you. But as it does start to feel uncomfortable, then you start looking for a different position. And if you don't know which position to go to feel more comfortable, you're likely to do what these folks are doing, and you go from bad to worse. So sometimes a change of posture is feels beneficial just because it's a change, but it's not necessarily a better posture. So let's identify what those ideal postures are. The good news for this discussion, if you've had any awareness of ergonomics in the past, the principles are the same wherever you are. They don't change whether you're working at home or you're working at some other remote location. So what is good ergonomic setup? Let's discover that. The essential elements of good posture are depicted in this diagram here. And by the way, most of everything that I'm going to show you today, you can find on the HR webpage of UCR's website. So that web address down there, it will get you to the documents that we're going to share with you here, and you can go check out those resources if you forget any of the things we're talking about today. Anyway, standing or seated, we want to see the following essential elements in your posture. We want to see that your back is straight, and what I mean by that is we want to see a nice straight line through the ear, shoulders, and hips. Right, when we do that, it puts our normal spinal curves in place. We're going to talk a little bit more about the importance of those curves. But back straight, head level, not looking down. So we want those ears right over the shoulders, your eyes looking straight ahead. Your upper arms should hang relaxed at the side of your torso, just as they would be if you were standing in line somewhere and not using your hands for work. Your upper arms hanging relaxed by your torso, elbows then bend to about 90 degrees. And you want to keep a neutral wrist, which is a nice straight line through your forearm and wrist. And of course, you want to see your feet are well supported on the floor. This is obviously important when you're seated and obviously naturally going to happen when you stand. Those essential elements tend to show up or are present for both seated and standing work. But seated work specifically requires two extra things. We want to support the lumbar curve well, and we want to make sure we sit back against the backrest. I call that sitting deep in the seat. That's super important. So when we sit, we tend to lose the lumbar curve. We tend to get this rounded back slump posture as is depicted there. Feels normal and natural. In fact, it's an intuitive way for the body to move, but it's quite stressful on the spine over time. So when we sit, we want to see we have an open angle at the hips. That means your hips should be slightly above the level of your knees. So get that open angle greater than 90 degrees. That helps you to restore your lumbar curve by itself and takes a lot of stress on the low back. I would consider that the low end of acceptable. It's far more comfortable to the body when you're in prolonged postures to maintain open angles, slightly open angles. You need to sit deep in the seat, as we said, get your butt all the way back in the backrest, and your shoulder blades should be rested fully against the backrest of the chair. You need to have a good lumbar support. And then lastly, make sure that backrest is a little bit reclined. So if you notice the image on the right, perfectly vertical won't help you much because you can't rest your weight. So slightly reclined, and whatever feels comfortable there without getting too reclined, it will be fine for you. So if we go back to an image of those ideal postural positions, they're all lined up here. We're going to come back to this image and compare what we've done to modify some positions of work around the house and see how we do. So we're going to start with looking at, this is me at my dining room table, and this is a classic setup. Here we can see the tabletop's a little high, the seat's low for me. My hip angle is slightly closed. If at best it's at 90 degrees. I've got that forward lean of the torso, rounded back, head forward. A very stressful posture, but one that's quite common that people will put themselves into. So moving from left to right, the image on the right, I've raised my hips by putting some pillows under my butt. That helps to open the angle of the hips and take stress off my low back. But you can see that my head's still quite a bit forward. So in the next image on the left, I'm sitting up nice and straight to get that ideal posture, but that's actually too much work. I don't want to have to maintain that posture on my own. Right there, my postural muscles in the back are active and working harder than I want them to for prolonged periods of time. So instead, on the image on the right, using a pillow and a blanket to cushion the backrest and also give me a slight lumbar support there, I'm sitting deep against the seat and keeping my head up above my shoulders. Notice also the lower edge of that table is digging into my hips. So that's going to get uncomfortable. So I could lower the seat a little bit, as in the image on the left. And now the desktop's going to be high again. So I move my arms forward onto the broad surface of the desktop to support the weight of the arms comfortably. Don't want to rest on the edge of the desktop if we can help it. The image on the right, though, is far better still because I've now used a remote keyboard with my laptop and place my laptop on a stack of books so I get the monitor up where I want. It'll be easier to keep my head posture where I want it, and I'll do much better if I set things up that way. So moving on, let's see how that image compares to our ideal posture. You can see that back is straight, ears are directly above the shoulders, arms are hanging relaxed by the side of the torso. I've got an open angle at the hips, etc. So I've really created an ideal postural position or giving myself good ergonomic setup just by using some pillows and some blankets and some books. Again, the key is knowing what your ideal posture is, and then you adjust to get that. When I say the couch out, because the couch is really the worst seat in the house. You can see this image on the left, closed angle at the hips, forward lean of the torso, head way forward. Image on the right is not much better. I've sat deeper onto the seat, but I haven't really corrected anything any way substantially. Then I might shift to that recline setup just to see if I can get more comfort. But again, my head's craned forward to look at the monitor. This is not going to be a comfortable position for very long either. So instead, using some pillows under my butt, behind my back, and on my lap, I've set myself up to achieve that ideal posture again. So it's really critical to understand what you're shooting for, and then you can arrange things. Now, one thing I would like to add, it doesn't matter if you're working at the computer or reading a book or just watching TV, if you're sitting for long periods of time, you're dealing with these same issues. So in all truth here, that's how I sit on my couch when I'm just watching a movie or watching a ball game. I put pillows under my butt, pillows behind my back, and I put myself in a more comfortable, stress-free posture for the time spent that I'm going to be there. If you have a good working setup as you sit, that's still not enough. You need to find changes of posture as frequently as possible. So I strongly suggest you try to find a way to create a standing work option at home. The image on the left, I'm using putting my laptop on a tall counter in the kitchen, and I get pretty close to a good setup, but you can see my hands are a little low and the monitor is way low. So I've got to struggle to keep my head up. So I can't really stay there for very long. So on the image on the right, I've just used a box and a stack of books. And again, I get myself in a better position to support my body when I'm standing. We're going to go past that. Remember, static postures are super stressful on the body. You need to move. So find a way to get exercise, make those changes in posture frequent. I like to say, don't go more than an hour without changing posture. Right, a lot of people say, no, it's actually quite long. Better off but every 30 to 40 minutes if you can get away with it, but definitely don't go more than an hour without changing your posture. And look for opportunities for self-improvement during this crazy pandemic time, right? So yoga, whatever. And I turn it back over to Julie. I'm out of time. Thank you, guys.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. We have about 10 minutes for questions. If anyone wants to ask a question, feel free to shout out or put it in the chat, and one of our team members will be happy to answer.
Well, while we're waiting for anybody to ask a question, again, you should know that I'm available for one-on-one ergonomic evaluations. We do that remotely via photos and a telephone call. And so don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're struggling. You shouldn't be struggling with pain and discomfort while working at home. I can help you to avoid that.
Thank you, Clyde. There was a question that was sent directly to me about renting the dumbbells. Can this staff person rent a dumbbell?
Yes, so staff, faculty, and students can participate in our equipment checkout program free of charge. You just have to go onto our website. If you go to recreation.ucr.edu, you'll see an icon that says equipment checkout. Click on that. There are some policies and instructions on how to reserve your time slot to come pick up equipment, but it's available for everyone. So please take advantage of it. It's a very popular service. We recommend that you sign up early in the week because our stuff gets taken out pretty quickly. So definitely.
Michelle, another one for you. This is for after the quarantine. Do you offer aerial yoga?
Yeah, so we were actually looking into offering this right before the pandemic happened. So hopefully when we reopen, we can go back to considering that. That is definitely a class that we want to have at the rec. So thank you for that suggestion.
That sounds like fun.
Can you describe what aerial yoga is? What is that?
Yeah, so they have like these silk pieces that hang up really high, and you basically do like acrobatic style yoga.
Just for you, Clyde. Class for
Yeah. Yeah, I'll stay firmly on the ground. Thanks.
I think I will too, but it looks really fun.
So Shannon's asking everyone to enter your favorite healthy snacks in the chat if you want to do that, or we can share as well. Ooh, fruits and crackers.
I like crackers.
I've been having, oh, go ahead, Clyde.
Crackers and hummus. That's my favorite.
Yes.
I've been doing, I found this Greek yogurt and I've been adding raw cacao like nibs into it for a little crunch, but a little bit of the chocolate taste, but you don't get all the sugar calories. It's kind of been my fun snack.
Sounds yummy.
I also love the Simple Mills crackers. So they're made from almonds. So I would definitely try those if you haven't. And then I love apples. They have a lot of fiber, so they fill me up. But I can't have too many. Also have sugar.
Good snacks. Hummus, crackers, apples. The cacao powder sounds like a great idea. And some people are writing trail mix and cucumbers. And any other questions we can answer related to our presentation since we're here? If not, we can turn it back over to Michael.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Julie and the rest of the team for this wonderful discussion and tips to help make things go better. We really, really appreciate your taking the time to do that. And we definitely are going to post this later, and you're going to send us information about the PowerPoint presentation and the website where people can go if they want to get further information and contact you and do that. So I want to thank you. I'll give the room one more chance to ask questions before we say goodbye. No? Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. This has been really wonderful, and we appreciate your taking the time on International Education Week to come and join us and talk about ways for us to stay healthy and be better in our everyday work and our everyday lives. So thank you very much, everyone. Right.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us. Be
Thank
safe,
you, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.